is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Yo, what is up, Fandemonium? Thanks for hanging out with us for Season 3, Episode 21 of the K-Gun Report. We got a light shift tonight. No Jerry. Jerry's out on vacay, of course. And me and Scott are going to get you through this last preseason game, our 4 up, 4 down of who we thought was good and not good. I'm going to drop my light. It's going to be a great time. Let's go.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the K-Gun Report. Next to me, as always, is my boy, Scooter Magooter. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Swank? What's up, 24/7 Buff Fandemonium? Hey! What's up, FLX Mafia's in the house as well.
Hell yeah.
First preseason is in the books. I can't wait to talk about it, talk about everything that's going on, and give our opinions today about that game. I think it's going to be fun. Ups and downs today, right, Swank?
Yeah, lots of ups, lots of downs. Mostly ups, though, I think, man. I think we'll both agree on the big down, you know what I mean? Yeah, so like I said, no Jerry tonight. He's out on a little family vacay. Well-deserved. He's having a blast of a time. We got Ellen Lartz. We got Troy Pedito. We got Uncle James. We got
What's up, guys?
Brother Brent saying get the cracking. Hell yeah, I'm about to hit my second one up here. It's been a week. We got
Cheers.
Lisa Johns, Lady Bills, being all smart. Wait,
What's
is
up,
there
ladies?
no show tonight?
Commenting. Is there one tonight? Yes. What do you think you're commenting on?
Our
Welcome.
buddy, our buddy Paul Rossi. We got John Johns, Lonnie
Nice.
Cook, Paul Lapp Brown, all of our favorites here tonight.
Man, oh man.
Oh, we got Robbie from Let's Talk 716.
What's up, Robbie? Robbie just put out a show the other day. He's got a lot of special guests, does a good job. He's mostly on Twitter, but I think he's introducing to the YouTube and Facebook world too. So hit him up. Check out his podcast, everyone.
We got a new name, Pops Mafia, saying hello. What's up, Pops? Thanks.
What's up, Pops Mafia? Welcome.
And we got Troy Pedito weighing in on all sorts of opinions already. Before we get too deep into this game, who we got for the Fandemonium fan profile of the week there, Scotty?
Joshua Williams.
Big Josh Williams.
Big Joshua Williams. Josh is a proud fan of the Buffalo Bills. He especially is a supporter of the 24/7 Buff Fandemonium and FLX Mafia. He's we did a fan profile on him. His favorite player is Stephon Diggs, and fittingly so, he likes to brag and show off his Notorious Diggs shirt that 24/7 Buff Fandemonium, our buddy Swank here, created. It's an awesome little design. We actually have, I think, 4 or 5 left. So if you want one of those, hit us up. But Joshua Williams, always commenting, always on the show, commenting on the page, and just participating as a whole. And that's what we love about our Fandemonium group. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, man. Josh is one of those dudes. Been here a long time. Real good guy. Always putting in good insight. He's funny. And big supporter, man. So, Josh, thanks so much for being part of our group, man.
And he's part of the Red Beard clan too, Swank.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that because I'm a strawberry blonde beard. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that what they call it? Just the roots part.
We got just the roots, yeah. I'm a bleach blonde, bleach strawberry blonde. Robbie saying, "Hey Scott," yeah. I said, "Hey." We got Big Josh Williams here.
Well, there he is.
Patrick Hughes, what's up? Mafia, mount up, crack them beers, and let's 82 yards punk go. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I have a lot to say about that exact punt. There's a lot of people in the media that are, he out punted the coverage. Why would he kick the touchback? A lot goes into it. And
yeah, I
mean, come on now.
We can talk about it. We can talk about it now if you want to. You want to?
You want to. Okay, this is the situation that we're used to. Kicking from the 10-yard line, you kick the ball deep, they'd catch it at the 40 and possibly return it 20, 30 yards, okay? We completely turned the field. It was a 62-yard net. They got the ball at the 20, completely turned the field around, and potentially would have given us a field goal or score at the end of the first half. So whether or not he drove it low and it went out of the back of the end zone, that was an amazing punt, and it flipped the field. Everything that you want as a punter, as a fan that's watching the game, you want them to be backed up that far. And I thought it was awesome. Man,
I posted something today. DraftKings has Matt Araiza being the offensive rookie of the year odds at 20,000 to 1. It's like, take all my money, man. Yeah. I think, like, Bills Mafia is divided into several factions, right? And I feel like the majority of us are like, this is our team, this is our city, this is our guys. It'll be that way from the time you're born till the time you die. Like, that's it. Like, through and through, this is our team. And you ride the roller coaster and you deal with what you have to deal with. Some of us have lived a lot more of the negative than the positive, right? And I feel bad for kids that are a little younger than us, man, because they didn't even get to see the 90s, you know, like the Super Bowl runs and all that stuff. So there hasn't been a lot to root for. So I don't know where the mixture comes in, but I swear to God, there's like this little pocket of Bills Mafia members that'll find a reason to bitch about anything. And you got a dude who's lived up to his name. The first punt he ever did in the NFL was 82 yards. It netted 62 yards, and people are complaining. Are you kidding me? 62 yards. I heard Jeremy talking about it on Howard and Jeremy this morning. A 62-yard net. Anybody will take that any day of the week. Any coach will
Yep.
take a 62-yard punt any day of the week. And they said if statistically he kicked every ball out of the back of the end zone, he would be the greatest statistical punter in all time. Like all NFL history, the best punter if he kicked everyone out of bounds. So everybody relax. The dude is exactly who we want him to be.
And some say kick the bombs in preseason because when Josh Allen and the offense are out there, you're not going to have to kick. You're not going to have to kick from the 10-yard line.
Patrick Hughes says pump the brakes. It was only preseason game 1, and he could be one. He could have been nervous first time playing in front of the Mafia. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought he did great. Like, as far as our 4 ups, 4 downs for this game go, he was right up there, guaranteed. Like, Scott and I kind of bounced a handful of names, trying to sort out, like, all the ups, just to narrow it down to 4. Ariza was on both of our lists, man. Like, I think, he's as advertised. And if he continues to do it, yeah, I'm not a homer, and you guys know that. But he's got to prove it every single week. And I think each one of these preseason games, he's got another opportunity. I thought he held really well. That one snap was low, and he got it around. Like, I mean.
I watched the snap, Swank. The laces were out, every one. He was able to turn them all around. Yeah, he's got it down.
Yeah. So Ariza, he's definitely one of our 4 up. I'd like to talk about one of my guys on defense here. Tim Settle, dude. Tim Settle is an animal. If you didn't watch the game, or you did, doesn't matter. First string offense minus Jonathan Taylor for the majority of the first half of the game. So you had, substantial rookies and second teamers that were going up against first teamers. And I got to say they held their own for the most part. But Tim Settle, I think his snap count was 10. And he made that all-pro O-lineman for the Colts look like a rag doll. He was just mowing them over every single play, pushing them over, knocking them. You guys can see the GIFs and the videos on Twitter, wherever. He was a monster, and he's our depth. He's our rotational depth, and I think that dude is just gonna play his way right into as much playing time as any of those guys can get. So I was super stoked. Again, another guy as advertised, just as good as what we wanted him to be.
I agree, Swank. I hate to correct you. He had 11 snaps, but but you're right. The Colts did have their starting. The Colts had their starting offensive line out there. Kelly at center, Quentin Nelson, that mean son of a bitch, easily one of the most talented all-pro guards in the NFL. And Settle manhandled him.
Yep.
And that defensive line looked impressive. I mean, Oliver wasn't out there. Daquan Jones wasn't out there. It was our backup line taking on the Indianapolis Colts' stellar offensive line, who had a hell of a running game last year. And, I mean, there's notable names on there. And, wow. It seemed like Tim Settle was out there a lot more in the 11 plays because it seemed like whenever he was out there, he was disrupting everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, number 2 on the list of the 4 ups, man. That guy is going to be wreaking havoc and obviously making the most out of his opportunities, just as he said, as the coaches have said, as analysts have said. I think he's that diamond in the rough that, like, Washington's going to be real, real sad they let him go.
Well, that's the thing is Washington had that stellar defensive line. I think all 4 of them are first rounders at some point in the draft. So he fell behind. He got lost in that match, in that mingle, and Bills are, again, scouting and recruiting other teams. This is a guy that they stole from the Washington Commanders. Sorry, I almost called them Redskins. Redmanders. But yeah, definitely an up, guys. And if there's a whole bunch of different situations that Frazier can put him in with Oliver, replacing Oliver, however they want to do it. If they need a big man front, they could put him on the defensive end position for a while and have Oliver, Daquan Jones. I mean, they could do a lot of different things with this Tim Settle fella. Say that 2 times fast.
Oh, looks like we're having some issues with the stream over on Facebook. Says John says it's froze up. There was no sound, but there's some people that are definitely.
I just listened to it. I just had it, Swank.
Yeah, Paulette's saying, hey, let us know what's up.
I just listened to it. I just had it, Swank.
Yeah.
Paulette's saying, hey, let us know what's
No
up.
problems here. Hey guys, if you're having problems, check your connection or something. It looks like so far we got some people having issues.
They did
and
this
some
to us
people
a couple weeks ago too. Remember, it did it to us a couple
like
weeks
half
ago.
the people, man.
Yep.
Charlotte says she's good. Mike says he fixed it. All right, cool. Let me know. I appreciate it though. Thank you guys so much. We want it to be A1 okay. And if you're listening to this podcast, it sounds great.
Oh man!
Paul says he got bounced out several times. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. That they've been doing that to some people. What was it? That was like what, 2 or 3 weeks ago that happened, right?
Yep.
We're like, we got half the viewers because all of a sudden they were kicking half the people out. Weird.
Yeah. Damn Facebook.
Go ahead. Who's your number 3 there? Who's our number 3?
Our number 3. I'm gonna stick with defense real quick.
Do it.
And I just mentioned our scouting team. What the Bills have done with the defensive back and Bernard. I'm sorry. Benford. Benford is the cornerback from Villanova, 6'1", 205 pounds. He was out there with Kai Elam, and I could have sworn that he was the first round draft pick and not Kaiir. Kaiir has some wonderful, wonderful plays, and I'm not going to knock him for anything because I'm kind of expecting that from him. But seeing what Benford did against Pittman, Pittman's no slouch at the wide receiver position. Big, tough wide receiver coming out of his route, and Benford did not give. When they bumped into each other, tight coverage. I didn't see much of the hands-on stuff. I didn't see a lot of the grabbing. I was very impressed, and I think he just, with the Bills cutting Elijah Griffin, I think that was one of the things that made that happen, the cut of Griffin, because Benford did such a good job. I'm going to give him an up, and I'm honestly going to tell you guys, after watching what he did to Pittman, this was no slouch in an offense. They played against a starting Colts offense. I'm impressed. I was very impressed, and the scouting team knows exactly what they're doing. And remember, he was causing a little frustration with Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis and all that stuff. So, and he's a big guy, 6'1", 205 pounds. So this is a guy for sure to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, I was impressed, man. And Elam didn't make our list, but I wanted to say, I know that he's been taking a little bit of heat. I think it has to be mostly because of that penalty. Because other than that, man, I thought he made a really good play right off the bat. Was that against Pittman, right? Wasn't he guarding Pittman? And he had a pass breakup. It seemed like he was getting in the mix early. And I think the offense and the defense both had really good first runs on either side of the ball. Penalties killed everything all over the place. But I thought Elam did pretty good, man. I definitely think the trial by fire that he's getting at practice is like due all the praise for that. But a couple more games I think he'll be good. But yeah, I mean, 6th rounder, he's making a push.
And Swank, one of the things that when I remember one of the announcers saying, because I actually went to the game, guys, I had a wonderful time. Took my 5-year-old, my in-laws, the best experience you could honestly ask for as far as how things went down. Perfect weather. The super fans were there. A couple of them, Bill's Jason and Bill's Mandalorian. Jack loves the little Yoda guy.
Yeah.
Bill's kid was there, but perfect weather. All the fans were obviously excited. And with that comeback win of the field goal at the end was just, we got them hooked.
Yeah, I was going to say, with you being there, man, I mean, everything I heard, it was like people were treating it like a real game. Like it was like it came down to the wire. They were invested. The team was invested. It's like it wasn't a meaningless game. You know what I mean?
Right. And I forgot where I was going with that, but it was a wonderful experience for sure.
Good. So Jack loved it?
Yes. The 5-year-old that watched the whole game at the game, because when you're at the game, sometimes it seems like the game lasts longer.
Mm-hmm.
But he was standing in his seat the whole time. He knew when to cheer. He knew when not to cheer. And the Terrell Bernard fumble recovery for a touchdown actually came right to our end zone. So I picked him up, and he was going crazy. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's a good experience for
for
the
sure.
in-laws and the family. Pops Mafia is saying that Drew Lock has COVID, in case anybody was wondering about that. That's bad news for the Seattle Seahawks. It was bad news that Drew Lock was their starting quarterback.
I know, right?
Let alone that he's got COVID now, man. Wow.
Oh man, they got an evaluation process they have to do. They have a bunch of quarterbacks there. I don't know who's going to start for them.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Is Geno's out there too, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think he was getting the first team reps. But yes, this is Seahawks Fandemonium, the 12th man report right now. So our last guy on 4 up, 4 down for this game is our boy Shakir. He balled out right off the get. If there was any saving, and this is a spoiler alert for the 4 down, any saving Case Keenum's game, it was the passes that Shakir caught from him. I believe nine receptions.
He had 5 for 5, I believe, or was that Hodgins? I can't remember, but it was impressive.
I think he had 90 yards on 5 receptions, 5 targets, right?
Yeah, I can't. I think that was it.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I mean, he looked all the part. There was a one where he was lined up in the slot, and he dipped his shoulder past the defender. And,
yes.
And it was like watching a 5-year vet. I couldn't believe it. He's a smooth route runner, great hands, knows where he's supposed to be no matter where he is lined up on the line. I was so impressed by him, and was hoping to be, and he did not disappoint. Yep, Paul says Shakir 5 for 5 for 92 yards.
There you go.
So
that's Swank. We had behind the end zone, and that's a whole different. If you guys have always been 300, 200 on the sides, go to a game where you're sitting behind one of the end zones. It's a total different experience because what you see is the actual not only holes opening for run game, but you see the routes. If you pay attention to receiver, you can see the separation that you normally wouldn't on TV or on the sideline. So Shakir, not only was his route running amazing, like he created separation, but like you just said, the fact that he knew to dip his shoulder to get by that corner and he slipped right by him to get open. This guy, one of the best first game showcases I've ever seen as a wide receiver, and he blocked. He blocked very well. And those other 2 guys that are in the slot that are behind him, they might want to strap up those chin straps a little tighter because this guy's not going to go easy as far as losing a position. Well, he's got to gain it because he's a rookie, but he's going to make it tough for those other guys. He's going to get a lot of snaps this year.
Yeah, I mean, if there was any question about him making this 53-man, I mean, aside from a freak injury or something, I think he's a lock. When we get to these downs here in a minute, I think there's a couple people that are all of a sudden the bottom of that wide receiver room looks a little murky. I think there's, flip a coin.
Yep.
And we'll get to that. But, Shakir, absolutely impressed, made the most of all of his opportunities, caught balls from both Case and from Barkley. I don't know. I loved it. I loved everything he did. And he had real game stats, and I think it's hard to do, especially catching from 2 different quarterbacks, your first time out. I'm sure that place was bumping more than just a practice, so.
Right.
Yeah. And Pops Mafia, he says I sit in 123.
Pops, that's where we were sitting.
Oh, there you go.
Yep, back left corner where the tunnel is, 123. Sweet. Pops, where were you sitting, man?
He also says Shakir with the punt returns too. Forgot to mention that. He did take a couple punts back. I mean, it was average. I didn't think it was anything spectacular crazy. But it was nice to see that rotation. I mean, it's very obvious that they're going to shy away from using Isaiah McKenzie for that. I think he's guaranteed a bigger part of this offense right now, as long as things stay the way they are.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And Shakir, I would say, about average, but you got to test him. You got to test him. I think he's fallen in the category of punt returning is very dangerous. You don't want a fair catch when you know there's a lot of space to return the ball, and you don't want to return one when you know they're right in your face. And that's a dangerous position to play in. So I think it's hard to get confidence when you're a punt returner.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look at Stevenson last year, right? Like we talked about that. I think if he would have just, barreled out, picked his hole, and ran full speed, he probably would have done way better. But he seemed hesitant. Seemed like he really wanted. I don't know if it was. I want to think it was more like he was afraid of not making that big break. He wanted to make that big break, so he would slow down and make too many cuts, try to be too fancy with it, and that would get him in trouble as opposed to just picking your lane and running full steam. You know,
I mean, it's the NFL, it's not college. You need to pick your lane, like you said, and run, because these guys are a lot faster, a lot smarter. Their angles are a lot better. So, yeah, you need to find a little lane, because it's going to close within a second, and find it and run through it.
Yeah. All right, let's hit these downs up quick. I'll go with the obvious, man. Case Keenum, he disappointed, I think, everyone. I did watch his presser afterwards. I mean, the guy's, he's a pro. You know, he answered the questions the way you would answer the questions. He took the heat the way you would take the heat. I want to chalk this up to new system, bad O-line comparatively, and just getting a case of the yips after those first two mess-ups. I'd really love for him to come out this week against Denver and just turn all those turnovers into touchdowns and shut everybody up.
Yep.
A lot of people were calling to, you know, see what Fitzy was doing. I contributed to some of that on Twitter, you know. It was fun. But it's like, it's also, this guy, man, he's a solid backup. He's a journeyman. I said it last week, like, one bad game, first preseason game. I'm not going to get too worried about it. Now, if it comes out this week and it's the same deal, we might be letting that ship sail.
Yep.
But, I mean, at this point, you know, Barkley looked better. Yeah, he looked better against the threes. You know, it's 6-1, half dozen to another. I feel like, you know, like, hopefully he comes out, corrects his mistakes. I think he's the kind of guy that will do that. And, you know, nobody should get too down on it. I think the O-line evaluation is huge for this part of it.
Took precedent.
Yeah.
I think that took precedent over the quarterback situation this week.
Absolutely. So, Case, one down, buddy.
Hey, you know, Swank, on this, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. You just mentioned the O-line. Luke Tenuta played the first time, his first ever game in the NFL. He played 100% of the snaps. The left tackle was Tommy Doyle. Right guard was Cody Ford. Obviously, fans have their way with that, and they have their opinions about him, but he's in a different system with Cromer. So that's an evaluation that has to be done. Bobby Hart was a left guard, and same goes with him as far as what I said about Ford. And then Van Rotten, who was normally a guard, played center. So this was a situation where Case Keenum was being protected by basically the second and third string linemen playing against DeForest Buckner, you know, the starting defense, except for Leonard at linebacker of the Colts, who has a really good defense. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. The ball that was thrown in the back shoulder that was picked, that was, I think, his worst mistake. The other one was a volleyball by Crowder that went up. He had also a nice touch pass to Kumaro, who fumbled the ball. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Barkley played against a bunch of third stringers, and you look like a good backup that was playing against a bunch of third stringers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So this Denver game, I believe, is going to be a big tell. I do believe Case Keenum still is the number 2, but if he shits the bed this week, you can bet your bottom dollar. There's a song about that. Bet your bottom dollar. That's Barkley may sneak. It's going to take this week. The performance this week is going to decide who that quarterback number 2 is, because the next preseason game, we're going to see Josh Allen for the first half, like we did last year. And then we'll see the backup play the second half. So this Denver game, it will be key to figuring out who quarterback number 2 will be.
We got Rob Mullen saying, well, Mike Voice first. He says he's fine. A couple of fluke interceptions, but he was all right outside of that. Rob says, true in response to benefit of the doubt. However, the line was not the issue, he's saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, the continuity, and yeah, he's been playing with these guys in training camp, practice, all that stuff. It's still a new group of guys. The timing thing, I think with Crowder, he threw it too fast. I think where he got into trouble outside of that other interception down at the other, like in the end zone there, basically, was that he was holding on to it too long, And I think a lot of that is a relationship between quarterbacks and receivers. And I think he was trying to force that one to Isaiah because he said all that great stuff about him. He really likes Isaiah Hodgins and all that stuff. So I think he was trying to make something happen while he had the opportunity to do it, and it was a bad throw.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 200-something pounds. He should have thrown the ball higher.
Throw it up. But, I mean, if we're looking, too, he did – was it twice that he overthrew Howard in the end zone?
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff. He's a big guy, too, man. You don't need to throw it that high. Just I think a lot of that stuff is like fine-tuning. And hopefully he just comes out and he throws fire this week. And
well, that ball Swank is an area throw. As a quarterback, I heard one of the announcers say it, as a quarterback, when you have a tight end going down the seam, you're actually throwing to an area because obviously the safety might be dropping somewhere and the underneath coverage. As a quarterback, you're actually trying to drill the ball right underneath the goalpost. You want it to go right underneath the goalpost. That means it's high enough for the big tight end to go up and get it, but still high enough to where if it's an errant pass or goes off someone's fingertips, it's not intercepted. So he did do that twice. The one ball was high, so it wasn't incorrect throwing ball. I think if he would have put it where it had to have been placed, Howard would have had a better opportunity to catch it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and that's your 2 cents from old quarterback Scott Reed.
All right. I think the next two on our list here are both wide receivers who we've kind of touched on here. I think the big thing right now is Kumaro. And I think, it was unfortunate. He's usually a pretty solid, alternate choice, backup, special teamer. Unfortunately, he had that fumble. And that sucked because it was a really nice catch and run, and then it wasn't. I think with him right now, he's got to watch himself. Like, there can be no more mistakes, I think, because if he trends downward the way he did this last week and Isaiah Hodgins trends up and Hodgins can prove that he can hang at least a little bit with special teams in some sort of capacity, I think they go with the new blood, and I think Jake Kumaro is packing. What do you think?
I agree. If Hodgins didn't have any of those key mistakes, in fact, he made a lot of people noticed the catch, the sideline catch. He was able to come down and get his knee down before he went out of bounds. But if you look at the different angle of it, of where we were sitting, but there's also one on NFL.com, the move he used to get away from that corner, it was one-on-one coverage, and everyone knew it was going there. And that double move he put right at the line of scrimmage was very Stephon Diggs-esque.
Yeah.
And that's what they get. Iron sharpens iron, practicing with these guys. Isaiah Hodgins, his rookie, was hurt and never had got the opportunity. And I think he's got nothing to lose, man. It's just such a motivational thing to watch him come out and do what he wants to do finally and be healthy, that anybody that makes any kind of mistake is just opening the door for Hodgins. And he's a good sized guy, guys. He's not just someone that can catch the ball on the sidelines. Just like you just saw, he's a big hands, red zone presence. Look at his college tape. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, but I believe it was 100% catch percentage when he played for the Beavers there in Oregon and in the end zone. And I think that's pretty impressive. And I think that's what the Bills can't get away from. And that's why they keep him around.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of untapped potential. I think this is the year that he would have to do it if he was going to do it. If he gets hurt again, I think he's done. I don't think they hold on to him anymore.
Well, his rookie contract's over with anyways.
Yeah. I'm going to play devil's advocate just a little bit because I believe that this team is continuing to like upgrade and get younger while still keeping like that vet presence, right? And I think in Kumaro's case, it's a really good spot to be in because at worst, Hodgins gets hurt or he doesn't perform the way they want him to. He gets cut. You still got Kumaro. He's a solid special teamer, and he can pop in for a play here or two.
Right.
Hodgins, you got the potential of a young wide receiver coming into his own and being a solid backup. But you might lose some of that special team. The thing I want to say is, like, yes, the catch radius, the contested catches. Why does he always like do so well with contested catches? And why is he in that position so much? I think that his route running is a little suspect. He's not the fastest guy. He's just big and he's got good hands, and that's enough. But I think some of that other stuff's got to get sharpened up. He's really got to go balls to the wall and show that he can provide something that Kumaro can't in an aspect of the game where you have the best quarterback in the NFL, and if you need somebody out there to catch a ball, then your number's called. You got to go out there and catch that ball, So I'm good. I'm good either way, but I would love to see him get a shot. You know what I mean?
Right. So like there's a guy during a drought by the name of David Nelson. I know he's marked as a tight end, but he also played wide receiver. He's one of those big, lengthy, strong-handed guys that didn't have the most speed in the world and all that stuff and the best route running, but he found ways to catch the ball. That's why he made the roster. So I see a lot of him I see a lot of Hodgins in him, but yeah, he definitely needs to sharpen some things up for sure. But I think his main focus is just to get healthy and stay healthy.
We got a good debate going on in the comments right now. Ken and Paul. Ken said he could be a potential trade bait. Paul saying you could get more for Crowder if we find a trading partner. So Crowder was the other one that was he rounds out the 4 down for our analysis of this preseason matchup against the Indianapolis Colts with the game-winning field goal for the win for the Buffalo Bills to continue their 9-game preseason win streak, which means
That's
nothing.
hilarious. Nothing. The Ravens have a 22-game win streak, and I love those stats. They mean nothing.
That's interesting, though. I do believe that Crowder is a more appetizing trade for another team than Hodgin is, because I think Crowder could start on other teams. He might start on this team. Who knows? But I think right now they're pretty solid with Isaiah McKenzie. They didn't even dress him. Look at the guys they didn't dress. That told us a lot.
Yep.
Dane Jackson didn't dress.
Right.
I would say that means he's the number 2 for sure. Maybe the number 1 going into this season, depending on what's up with Trey. But
yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, they value Dane enough to where they didn't want to risk getting him hurt.
Yep, so they knew enough that he was number 1. You might as well put Benford and Elam out there and play the number 1 and number 2. That way they have enough experience before week 1 starts to where Dane 1, Elam 2, Benford and a dime back if he has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe you get a little rotation in there. Like the line. Why not? I mean, that line's going to eat so much that hopefully, like we said weeks and weeks and weeks ago, this line is strong enough to where hopefully the back end, the guys don't have as hard of a job as they normally would. And if you have some young guys back there or some inexperienced guys back there, and then you have that safety tandem and Poyer and Hyde helping them out, and the front line applying pressure, it might be the perfect storm to weather it until Trey can get back, and then all of a sudden you're right back to that postseason form of just murdering people.
Yep. This was a perfect week, guys, with the Colts announcing that they're playing their starters. And the Bills obviously went into this preseason game evaluating hard their draft picks and their depth. I mean, that was a perfect situation I think Bean and McDermott fell into with this situation. And we came out with a win, and we came out with a ton of positive things. And so that's what I took out of this week when I was coming home, was like, that was a perfect situation I think we could have been in the first preseason game. Perfect.
Hell yeah. Well, that'll wrap up what we got to say about the Colts and the Bills game here. We're going to get into this Denver Broncos matchup coming up here, but first, we got a little Stump the Scooter.
Bye.
Let me set this guy up here.
Now let's remember, I do not have Jarrod to bounce off of. A lot of times that's how I can kind of remember what I'm actually trying to look at. So
sure,
we'll see how it is.
Excuses.
So since I'm a quarterback guy, I'm hoping you kept it quarterback.
Well, hey man, you know me. Like, I try to do whatever I can for you guys as much as I can, and I want you to be comfortable for sure.
Well, since you're filling this void up by pulling this stuff up, I want to touch on that Crowder thing. Trade Crowder, yes, I think the worst thing that could have happened for Crowder is the kind of game that Shakir had. I would it's only one game, it's small sample size, but seeing what Shakir had to offer, I would say right now he's second up to McKenzie. And
Mhm.
where's that put Crowder? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good evaluation we got from these wide receivers with how Kumaro and Crowder kind of took it down, and Shakir and both Shakir and Hodgins kind of looked good. So it'll be an interesting battle because it's not over. After what the Bills front
No.
office saw, after what we saw, there's going to be a lot of trying to evaluate these guys to know pinpoint exactly who's going to fill this roster come week one.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to keep it familiar, and I know that you're a big quarterback offense guy. So with that being said, I want you to name the top rated defenses from last year, 2021.
Are you for real?
Yep.
Defenses.
According to ProFootballReference.com.
How many do I have to come up with?
10.
10 defenses?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to start off with the Rams.
And you would be wrong. They are 15th on this list. How dare you, sir?
How
not
dare
just
you
get
start me off
number
with that?
one? How dare you not just get number one right off the bat? You are gonna get roasted in the comments right now.
I know I am. I know the Bills were top 10.
I'm sorry, what?
Our Buffalo Bills top 10 defense.
They were not top 10, sir. They were number 1, sir.
There you go.
Buffalo Bills. Right there.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers are number 5 on this list. Nicely done, sir.
New Orleans.
New Orleans was number 4.
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys, number 7.
Rookie Jalen Smith, not Jalen Smith, who was Parsons, amazing
yeah.
amazing
Michael
linebacker,
Parsons.
and with Trevon Diggs doing what he did, I mean that was a good defense. I know with the secondary, Miami Dolphins, arch rival, they had a good defense.
They had an average defense. They were 16th on this list, sir.
Oh, okay. I guess.
I would say
how about the Packers?
The Packers are 13th on this list, sir.
I'm falling behind.
Yeah, keeping our division. Patriots are number 2 on this list, if you'd believe it, with the crummy crap that they pulled last year.
Well, I figured it was that way because of how poor their offense was. And they still won so many games. Who else could be in there? Niners?
Niners are number 9. Nicely done.
Okay. This is tough.
So let's see. You have the Bills, the Patriots, the Saints, the Cowboys, the Niners. You said the Bucks too, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so you have number 3, number 6, number 8, and number 10. If you'd like some hints, I will gladly provide those.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Still, are the Bengals in there?
Bengals are not in there. They're number 17th on this list.
Okay. I'm thinking they made the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Did I say the Tennessee Titans?
No, you did not. That is number 6, sir.
Okay.
Yep. So you got number 3, number 8, and 10.
Philadelphia Eagles?
18th.
The Raiders.
Oh, they're not even. I only screenshot 20, so no, they're not on here.
All right, I mean, Steelers.
Steelers are number 20.
Okay, well, by the time I get done naming the names, I'll be through all 32.
Right,
so
well, here we go. I got you. So one of these teams we just recently played in the preseason.
The Colts.
Hey, the Colts come in at number 10.
Which tells you a lot because we just played their starters with our backup, so we did all right.
Sir.
Okay.
Now, number 8 is a team, their defense started out shaky and then solidified. We beat this team earlier in the season, halfway through the season. They are an AFC team.
No.
Kermit the Frog is their quarterback.
Oh, Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs, sir, are number 8 on this list.
Really, they were ranked that high? I did not think they were ranked that high.
So you only
Okay.
have one left. You're not doing too bad here, man. Number 3 is the only one we're missing.
Number 3, that's a high-quality defense.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed these guys to be on the list.
Cardinals?
No, sir.
Mm.
They are not.
I should have kept the list. I think.
They're number 11. I mean, they're one off.
Okay.
So, not too bad.
Nope. Give me a hint there, Swank.
Give you
who's
a hint.
Who's their stud?
They're an AFC team.
Yeah.
They are in the same division as Kermit's division.
Chargers.
No, not the Chargers. They're not even on this list.
Raiders.
You already said that. No.
So it's the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, and who am I missing over there in the West? Oh my gosh, guys, this is like a big brain fart. This is why I need someone.
Their twice removed best player ever to play in the franchise on our team this year.
Oh, Broncos.
The Denver Broncos, surprisingly,
there you go.
number 3. I thought that you were going to go Browns on that list at some point, which they came in at 14. The Seahawks somehow squeaked out 12. Even though I think that they're pretty much dismantled at this point, right?
Yep.
But you hit pretty much everybody that's on the top 20 here, man. I would say that was okay, you know?
Oh, that was tough.
You did.
That was tough. We told you to toughen it up, though, didn't we?
Yeah, you said make her tough, and I said I'll toughen you up, boy.
Get her hard and tough.
Don't you worry, I'll toughen you right up, boy.
That was a good one.
Thanks, man. These are fun.
Yep,
and you guys,
sure
thanks for playing along. Rob Mullen had some pretty good guesses in there. It's weird because with the changing of the guard, right? Like it seems like the whole NFL is completely turned from 5-6 years ago. Now you got all these old guys that are starting to fade out. I mean, who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do this year? We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you got old man Brady and Rodgers left out of the 5 or 6 guys that were like a huge part of years and years of the NFL. Your Peyton Mannings, you know, your Phillip Rivers, your Drew Brees, like all these guys. And now you have young dudes that are coming in and really making a name for themselves. And then you have big-headed babies like Kyler Murray running around trying to make a name for himself too. But, you know.
I agree. Big baby. It's great. No, because Swank, we're at the age now where obviously we start watching football. We got the Kellys, the Aikmans, the Elways, and all that stuff. They're already in the league by the time we watch, and they retire.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys that actually came in after them that are fulfilling their career are the ones that are starting to retire now. And it not only makes you feel a little older, but now it's like, now we start feeling what these older guys that watch this game forever start feeling. It's like, I remember back in the day, the Joe Fergusons, the Jack Kemps, all that stuff. Now we're going to start saying, I remember back in the day, the Jim Kellys, the Doug Flutys.
Yeah.
And thank God we got our quarterback.
John
but man,
Elways.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, 41 years old, we're starting to see our full career quarterback starting to retire.
Oh, you were talking just Bills quarterbacks. I'm sorry.
Just in general, you know what I mean? I mean, this is the guys that have started their career while we were watching and ending the careers while we're watching are starting to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just now we're starting to see new breeds come in after we've watched the NFL for so long. It's just weird to think about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, man. It's weird, but it's fun. It almost gives you like a badge of honor, you know, like you've lived enough life to where you're like, I remember.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna be rolling up on a generation pretty soon of people that never saw Peyton Manning play or remember seeing Peyton Manning play. You know, like that blows my mind because that dude was like really into. You know, obviously I was conscious and very aware of what was going on with the Bills through the Jim Kelly years in the '90s and all that stuff. But to meet somebody that never saw that guy play. I want to meet somebody that's never seen Tom Brady play. That's what I want to meet. I want to meet them tomorrow, hopefully.
Right.
You know, a baby born tomorrow that's never seen Tom Brady play. I'll never see him play.
They're about 3 years old right now, Swank. They're about 3 years old right now.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
What's up, Debbie? Debbie says, hi, babes and guys of Bill's Mafia. Camping can't stay. Wanted to say hi. Happy
Hey, Debbie.
camping.
Happy camping. Enjoy.
Paul Rossi says Rob Johnson, QB number 1.
So, Swank,
Yeah.
someone's mentioning Blackshear, the running back there for Buffalo. I just want to touch on him real quick.
Sure.
This guy, undrafted rookie free agent. And after watching him play, he had a lot of carries for a short amount of yards, but he got like 4 carries on the goal line. So that's going to knock your average down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
But what he did out of the backfield, which is what I believe the Bills are going to do this season, catching the ball out of the backfield, catching the loft pass, his pass blocking. And he's got that. This is a huge thing in the NFL, that one cut running back style. Makes a decision, makes the cut. This is what Singletary is really good at, and gets the yards. This Blackshear guy, and I can't stand to think this because I love Taiwan Jones so much, but if Blackshear can prove himself as a special teamer, I think he might take Taiwan Jones a spot. You guys can argue with me this if you want. But what I'm seeing here is if Blackshear can do what Taiwan Jones can do, which is going to be hard to do, he provides the advantage because he can actually play the running back position that the Bills are looking for. So this is going to be a very interesting position to watch. Moss did a great job against the starting defense. He bounced the ball out to the outside and gained a shitload of yards. Singletary didn't dress because he's the starter. Obviously, our rookie and Cook is going to be there. Blackshear's making a name for himself. And like I said, if he could play special teams, Taiwan Jones might be in trouble.
I think this is like the same kind of thing like we're saying with Kumaro, right? Like Hodgins and Kumaro. My problem is like Taiwan Jones is still one of the fastest guys on this team. He's a career gunner.
That's why I hate to say it.
Yeah,
that's why I hate to say it.
I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I like him. This is the thing, and we've talked about this for years now, at least 2 years, where it's like there's going to be talented football players on this team that you like that will not make this roster. And he's one of these dudes that he showed out. Any other team that you're on and you're playing like that, you're scoring like the only 2 touchdowns that get scored.
And Swank, those weren't just goal line. Those weren't just goal line touches where he got the ball and put his head down. On both occasions, he had to make one little move, committed to it, and put his head down and scored. It's hard to score on the goal line.
True.
And he was able to find the goal line. And in the NFL, if you can find the touchdown, if you could find the end zone, you're going to find a job somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the toughest decisions that this front office has with Taiwan Jones and Blackshear for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm looking at him like the Antonio Williams kind of, or Antoine.
Yep.
No, Antonio, am I right?
Antonio. Yep.
Antonio
he had some good numbers playing for that Giants team in preseason for sure.
Yeah, so
I'm glad
the
to see it.
captain of the offseason, right? And hopefully Williams gets a shot backing up Saquon Barkley. That would be cool. Or at least being the third back on that team. I think that would be really cool. Following Dable over there, maybe it'll happen. In this case, that room is so crowded right now. I mean, a couple weeks ago we were talking about Moss not being here, right? Like, and I think again Moss showed out. He had a couple really good runs. He showed that brute bull strength that he had, getting the hard yards, and then he made a sweet cut and picked up a big gain, and kind of showed some speed that we haven't been able to see from him because he's been hurt.
Well, he just came out with that this week, saying he was hurt all last year, even after the surgery.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's got to be shaky trust in it, right? When you're full bore, you're a young guy, you're not worried about it, you get hurt, and then you want to go full, but you don't want to get hurt again. Like, there's got to be a mental part of that, coming back from an injury and then turning the Jets on. I don't know. I'd love to see him. I think he's got a practice squad spot. I see that. I think Duke's gone.
I see him being grabbed from the practice squad. He'll be on a roster before the end of the year, before the end of the.
You think so?
Blackshear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep. You look for those offensive running styles that look for that one cut running back, and I think he fits the mold. And he looked powerful when he was running that ball. So if the Bills aren't going to keep him, someone will grab him.
John says, remember these guys are also showcasing for other teams, not just the Bills. Great point, and very true. This is an audition. And a bunch of these guys aren't going to make it. I mean, what are you saying? That the corner just got picked up by the Giants, right? Dable scooped him.
Elijah Griffin. Yep.
Yeah, Paul Rossi, we're going to cut a bunch of players for other teams this year. Yep, and that's the truth.
And that says a lot about our front office, everyone. I mean, we always go back to that. When you start having players that can't make the roster on your team because the depth is so good, that they're going to be picked up by another team and make the roster. That says a ton about our scouting, our recruiting, our scouting other teams in the NFL and bring these players over. I mean, we're sitting in a pretty spot as far as our front office goes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you're looking at the quality of the second teamers that we put out and the third teamers that we put out on Saturday, thinking about all those dudes that sat, I mean, it's the whole Pro Bowl on the AFC side of things is just going to be Buffalo Bills this year, man. Like, it's nuts. We got our boy
Cheers,
Robert Badat checking in, says, getting them Bills. Robert, number one, thank you. Number two, I'll tell you why we're thanking him. He just hooked us up with a football for the raffle. At the regular season Rager, September 3rd, which is 3 weeks away, if you can believe it.
It's crazy to think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, a Reuben Brown signed full-size Wilson football with a certificate of authenticity, which is funny because in the early 2000s, it was actually, they got a Bill symbol on it. It's a big piece of paper rather than a little card. And since we're talking about stuff for the Rager, look at this guy, Swank.
Yeah, buddy.
Look at this guy. Can you see it okay?
Picture. Yeah, tip it down a little bit so the glare's not as bad. There you go. Yeah, a little further. No, just tip it. Yeah, there you go, right there. You guys see that sick visor? That's from our boy Bills Jason.
Our boy Bills Jason created that for the mini helmet that's going to be signed by Mark Maddox for this raffle. Regular season Rager, Swank said it, September 3rd at Reinvention Brewery, going from 3P to 9P. We're going to have a live stream of the K-Gun Report. We're going to have live music with Endless Mountain Derelicts. That's Swank's gang there. We got super fans, Mark Maddox, raffles, 50-50, food truck, a beer release from Reinvention. It's going to be a good time, guys. So if you're just hearing about it now, mark it on your calendars. It's a Saturday, 5 days before the season opener. We're going to kick it off in style. We're going to have a lot of fun, drink some beers, talk some Bills football, and hang around a bunch of Bills fans. It's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get in on this matchup a little bit that we're going into this here Saturday against the Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not expecting much starter play out of this game. I think we both agree with that, correct?
Correct.
So what are we looking for specifically heading into this matchup?
Let me start.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Case Keenum's going to get his fair share of reps against the second stringers. Again, he needs to redeem himself. I think we're going to see the same rotation at quarterback than we saw this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, if Keenum doesn't show up, it might be Barkley's job if he does show up. So we'll start with quarterbacks there. I think we will see Kyer Elam and Benford at cornerback get the majority of the reps just to get them the reps. The best training in the NFL is experience, and I think that's what they're going to allow those two corners to do. You know, they just got rid of Elijah Griffin and Tim Harris, two cornerbacks, so I think they're pretty set, and they're starting to figure out their depth there. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. Defensive line, Swank, I think it doesn't matter who you put in there, we're going to see some pressure. So even if the Bills sit their second stringers because now they have a set in the 53-man roster, we're going to still see a lot of havoc. Mealy, that surprise guy that had a bunch of tackles and even a sack, I believe. I think we're going to see a lot of reps out of him. So I think it's going to be more defining what our depth looks like than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these games are for, right? All the way up until the last one, where it's a little bit of a dress rehearsal and getting people loose and used to getting hit again and all that stuff. Going with the defensive line, I'm going to tell you what I want to see. I want to see Shaq Lawson do something, and I want to see A.J. Epinesa do something.
Yep.
I'd really like to see that. I think I was watching Shaq this last week, and I wouldn't have put him on my 4 down, but I wouldn't have put him on my 4 up, and we didn't do either. He was just kind of out there. And I really want to see something more. Like, that's a dude that was a starter not that long ago. He should be out there busting heads. John Johns brings up a good point. Basham looked good. He absolutely did.
Mm-hmm.
He could have made the list. That strip sack was amazing. He looked good. He looked fresh. I want to see more of the same from that. I'm really going to be keeping an eye on that. And like you're saying, Elam, man, I want to see him continue to get better. No penalties this week. How about that? You know.
There you go.
Yep. And let's continue to see this continuity. Spectre, he can show out. You know, keep making these gorilla grunt AJ Klein kind of plays. I like that. Offensively, man, I think Shakir is gonna get some time, but I'm thinking that like they like him so much. I don't know if they're gonna hang him out there for a lot, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if he'll play more than a half or something.
You
Like,
might see Crowder get more reps than him,
Crowder,
trying to evaluate him
he
better.
needs to.
Mhm.
I mean, I could see Crowder, Kumaro, Hodgins, like, you know, Pau,
Mhm.
Gentry, you know, some of these guys getting out there, and you know, Crowder's got a lot to prove. I feel like he missed a lot of training camp. That little mishap this last week. I want him to be something.
Yep.
I love Isaiah McKenzie to death. But, I mean, keep that competition going, keep that fire lit. You know, my one thing about Crowder is if he's not the starting slot guy after the money they paid him and everything else, does he get disgruntled because he knows he could be starting somewhere else? You know, we don't know this guy. I haven't heard him speak. I don't really know a whole lot about him outside of what I saw, like, in New York, New Jersey.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see. Special teams wise, I want to see Ariza get that job. Get it this week.
We know we could boom it. Put him in a couple. If you got the ball at the 50-yard line, I know they went for it a lot on 4th down this week, but if you get the ball at the 50-yard line, you need to know if your punter can pin the guy. We know we can boom it. Let's see if he can put the ball down at the 5.
Real quick. Here we go, folks. We're in overtime. Overtime is brought to you by 24/7 Buff Fandemonium's K-Gun Report and Talking Too Long.
Well, it's talking too long. It's hanging out with our friends here at the Fandemonium. It's answering the questions, getting them involved. It's worth it.
Oh, hell yeah. I love it.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's put the Ariza in a situation where he has to pin someone inside the 5.
Sure.
Maybe get a backspin on a punt so it lands and comes back. Like I said, we know we can boom it. Let's just secure that spot and pin some people in.
Listen, I think he's done everything else. You know, like I said, they're just narrowing it down. What happens when he does that? You know, are they going to talk about which pocket his towel's in? You know,
Swank, the reason I'm saying it is because if we're trying to evaluate more players, I don't think Hawk should be out there doing random punts.
No,
I think we should
I
get
agree.
rid of him.
I agree.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think also maybe you don't risk Ariza being out there. I mean, I think you can hold him out for the next 2 weeks. You know, there's other spots. You have how many defensive linemen right now? How many corners still? You know, offensive linemen, there's a ton of players on this team, linebackers. You know, I know they got rid of Lee today, but it's just there's so many players in certain positions that, like, maybe they figure, you know, they can keep him out of harm's way a little bit, still have him put out and show what he can do, but, you know, if Hawk's going to be if he's going to be a leg, like, let him.
Well, you're right. If Ariza if they already know what Ariza can do, then have Hawk audition for another team, like what was previously mentioned.
Yeah, I mean,
Audition.
also, I don't want Ariza getting a cheap shot from a third stringer that's on a roid rage trying to prove himself and get a late hit in the back. You know, so my ideal situation for this week would be Ariza punts the first half, Hawk punts the second half, and
make the cut at the end of the week.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, open up that roster spot, do whatever you got to do. I don't know.
I think we're gonna see a lot of line rotation too as well, Swank. We saw a whole bunch of that this past week with Tunuta playing 100% of the snaps, and I think he played everything but center. So I think the Bills are going to try to. We still have a lot of offensive linemen on our roster, so I think with Ford being a question, who's the guards? Ike Bacher obviously is still on the pup list, so we need to figure out who's going to replace him for a while. I think we're going to see a lot of that line dimension working too. We're going to see a lot of more testing the limits of these players with the staff for sure.
Absolutely. Is this a 1 o'clock game this Saturday?
I don't know. I could check. I could check one time.
I think it is. I got a show. This is going to be Saturday will be the last of a 5-show stretch over the course of 9 days. And I think that where I saw it, it was 1 o'clock, and I could check out.
1 p.m. Yep. August 20th, Saturday, 1 p.m. at Highmark. For sure.
Rob Mullen says it was admirable for McDermott to give Hawk a legit chance to compete for the position, emphasizing that Ariza will be asked to do more than launching bombs. Absolutely. I mean, McDermott, I saw him, his little riff on Good Morning Football this morning. It was a good time. And it was boring. And that's what I love about Sean McDermott, man. I do. I love it. Like I said, he is like a way more likable Belichick. He doesn't give you anything. He doesn't really answer your question. He doesn't give a rookie an inch. He doesn't pat anybody's ass. He just says the bland facts with a smile on his face, and you love him for it. And he did. He said, "Oh yeah, he's Josh Allen's favorite punter or whatever, and all that stuff." But he said Hawk had a good punt there too, and and he did. He pinned him inside the 12.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good punt. It's not 83 yards.
That punt inside the 20-yard line is a stat for a reason. It's very important for field position, and Hawk was 1 for 1 with that. So,
yeah. Uncle James says they should fight it out. Okay.
Well, they're both good-sized punters, so that'd be an interesting one.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, well, wrapping up that, man. 1 o'clock. It's a home game. I think it's Kids Day. So if you're out there, check it out. Take some pictures. Send it up to the group, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, FLX Mafia, all that stuff. Tag us up in it. It'll be a good time.
For sure.
We're going to have some big news to announce here pretty soon. I don't really feel comfortable doing it right now. Agree? Yeah. But along the sponsor avenue, we have some cool stuff coming down the line. That'll be great for you guys as well. So be on the lookout for that. Scooter,
that's huge.
What are you thinking? You want to do some final thoughts? Get off
Let's
this thing?
let's throw out the Bills basics real quick.
Oh, yeah. See, we skipped that last week. I almost tried to skip it again.
Yeah, we have this new segment that we're trying to get to. And I'm going to precede it by saying, by no means necessary are we judging anybody's fanhood by how much they know about the Bills. But I think a lot of fans can understand that you should know a few things, right? So the first Bills basics things that we mentioned a couple weeks ago was the owner of the Buffalo Bills, the original owner, the founder, and Ralph Wilson. With a little bit of research, the Bills news is actually pretty interesting. It is always said that Ralph Wilson brought the Bills over, the colors over, because he's a native of Detroit, and he brought the silver and blue over from there. And it was always speculated. I don't think I've ever seen anything that was factual. But with a little research from my brother Jarrod and myself, the Buffalo Bills, actually the Buffalo Bisons, had a team in 1946, everyone. It was the AAFL, the All-American Football League. And it was the Buffalo Bisons. Now, if you remember back in the day, we don't, but history says that any team that was in Buffalo, the baseball team, the basketball team, they were all called the Bisons, which is very interesting. It wasn't until a year later, 1947, they were changed to the Buffalo Bills, named after Buffalo Bill Cody, which was voted on by the fans, and they played at Civic Stadium, which is all it blows your mind away when you think about these experts that always said it was a Ralph Wilson thing. The colors, they were actually the silver and blue back when they were the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Bisons between 1946 and 49. Teams like the Cleveland Browns, the Niners, and the Colts were in the same league as them. They obviously were the teams that advanced. The Bills kind of got dropped until later in 1960 when obviously our man Ralph Wilson brought them back to Buffalo and started with those colors. So Jarrod and I believe, and Swank does too, that those colors that were thought to be brought over by a Detroit native, was actually just kept the same colors as the original Buffalo Bisons, Buffalo Bills had when Ralph Wilson came to Buffalo in 1960. So that's very interesting. And so did you know that what you should know is that the Bills started out at silver and blue, and then now the current red, white, and blue, whether it's navy blue or the royal blue. But yeah, funny information. It's crazy when you start doing a little research. Had no idea that the Buffalo Bills had a team in 1946 and 1949.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So I guess, the question is, which was it? Dun, dun,
Yeah.
Or was it just that Ralph was like, oh, well, I like those colors anyway.
Yep. Keep the colors. And there's a lot of history between the color changes with the Buffalo Bills, because the more you do, the more you watch as the Bills advance through the years. They had the white helmets after that. And then all the teams in their division, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Colts, they all had white helmets. So that's why they changed them to blue to be a significant different, to red, that's to make them significantly different. And that's where the red helmets came in. But you could talk about that for days.
Yeah.
It's all interesting information. So far, what you should know about the Bills: Ralph Wilson was the original owner and brought them to Buffalo in 1960. And their original colors were silver and blue. Their new colors now red, white, and blue.
I can tell you, when I was a kid, and I know this is not going to be popular.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
I like some of the artist rendering of the red throwbacks now, which pains me to say throwbacks, but it was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That also pains me. I could not wait. I was like, I never thought in a million years they would ever go back to the white helmets, and I just could not wait for them to do that, and they did it, and it was like, I felt that way, the way people are feeling about, like, let's bring back the Reds.
Like the red helmets, yep.
I mean, those 90 uniforms, like, they were awesome, and that's what, like, a lot of these renderings are based off of. I like that. I like the new spin on that and those colors, but, that Marshawn Lynch, like, era, like, navy blue, like, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. And the helmets, nope. And I think there was so much negative connotation, like, associated with it for me, that I was like, man, it would be so cool if they went back to those white helmets. And they did it, and it's the best looking uniform in the NFL right now.
Oh, easily.
Mm-hmm. So
very sharp.
Well, cool, man. That's a cool little tidbit of information. We're gonna be throwing these in every week, as long as I don't try to skip it for some reason. So now, Scott, do you have any final thoughts for tonight?
I do. It's going off my last week's final thought is I took my 5-year-old, going to be 6 in September, to his first game ever. And just watching his unbiased little Bills loving heart watch the game of football and enjoy the full game, didn't lose sight of any of the game, was interested in every part of it. We got to remember it's a game, and whether it's something that helps you get away every Sunday for 4 hours, it's therapeutic. It's good for the heart to root for a team that you absolutely love and stay committed to them. And it's just awesome to see the young generation come up and understanding the game of football, knowing what it's about, and not taking it too serious. And that's just a lesson you get from a little guy. Is he wanted to come home and play with his dinosaurs right after that game. So it's, it's one of those things. Yeah. It's a game. It's 4 hours of your week. Enjoy it. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah. So Swank, we love to talk about it constantly, but it is a game at the end of the day, and you just need to treat it as so and enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like that ride we keep talking about, right? Because we went so many years where the ride was not as fun as it is right now. Where you're going to be able to talk about the Bills being legitimate contenders for the next 10 years. Whether they make it every year or not into the playoffs, but that hope didn't exist. When the drought got broken, I did not believe in ever seeing the Bills in the playoffs ever again. I think I was just like, I wanted it so bad. And when that moment happened, I was just like, I did not know what to do. And we talked about it a lot on the show, but it's like, I cherish every single game, every single win, every single piece of growth. Every time we make it into the playoffs, it still feels like brand new to me. Like, it's not, I don't take it for granted. I don't want to ever get to that spot where I'm like, well, we should be in the playoffs. Like, I feel like we should be in the playoffs, but like, I would never be like, give it to us, you know? like it's earned, man. It's absolutely earned. And as Bills fans and aging Bills fans, like, we've earned it, you know? But I'll tell you what, man, if they go 0-17, I'll be doing the show every week. I'll still be talking about it the same way. I'll still love the shit out of them every single day, the same way I do. So, I think that's what makes this run so special. You know, you got to go through the dirt to be able to get some good. And that was my final thought.
Get some good.
We missed Jarrod tonight. He'll be back next Tuesday. He's having a good time with his kiddos and his family out in Durian Lake. And we'll look forward to seeing him. We have another game to talk about next week. You can catch us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the K-Gun Report right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. We talk about all your likes, dislikes, throw your comments up, you know. We chug beers, we hang out, we have a good time. I'll tell you what's going on too. You can absolutely hear us audibly on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts, because I updated every single damn episode that we were behind, so you can listen to the audio whenever you want. And do me a favor, if you listen to podcasts, go like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. The ratings help us out. You know, tell your friends, bring them along. We have a good time. We love you guys to death. And don't forget about that Rager on September 3rd.
Boom.
Boom. I think that's it for me.
Hey, you got nothing planned September 3rd. Come hang out with a bunch of Bills fans at an awesome brewery with awesome giveaways and awesome Mark Maddox is there and super fans, and just it's going to be a blast. September 3rd.
Yeah.
And I do want to let everybody know, keep an eye out Monday, because the secret we're keeping will be revealed then.
All right,
man, I'm excited. Go Bills!
Go Bills!
This is a dangerous group.